Good
Hey guys, how you doing?
morning.
Morning.
I'm thinking about our SIP topic and what we should talk about, and I feel like something we don't really talk about a lot is what we do on like the 401k side, and specifically sort of participants and their view and sort of the services, how they all align for the plan participant and the plan trustee. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Joe, tell us about sort of the plans we manage.
So I think we're about 30 plans that we work with. Plan sponsor being the company. So if we use the term plan sponsor, that's ABC Corporation has a 401k plan for ABC employees. So a lot of times we use these words interchangeably. Employee and plan participant are the
Mhm.
same thing effectively for this conversation. The trustee, the plan sponsor, that's usually 9 times out of 10 the owner of ABC Corporation. So if there's 30 plans and I don't know, maybe say there's 20 or 30 participants in each plan, you see the sheer number of like plan participants that are touched throughout that book of business. So we get a lot of questions from plan participants and we interact very frequently with the participants of the plan. Tucker, I know you just recently, well, not recently, probably about a year ago, joined our firm, but you were coming from another firm. So, like, what's the most common question a plan participant is going to ask us when we're the advisor in a 401k plan?
Yeah, I feel like one of the most common questions we get right off the bat is like, hey, what do I do with my old 401k? Like, I just left this company. I just started a new one. I've got this account, do I still have access to that? Am I still going to be able to use that? And the answer is yeah. And so, you can normally do one of three, one of four things, leave it where it's at. Doesn't really hurt you. Maybe you have one extra log on that you have to keep track of, but you can leave it where it's at. You can roll it into an IRA. You can roll it into your new company 401k, or you can take the money out and, like Joe said earlier to me, you can build a chicken coop, which I have a chicken coop, so that was tailored for me. But those are kind of like the options most people would probably go with. Like I said, there's no real right answer. It's kind of just whatever works better for you. If you leave it where it's at, that's fine. Maybe you're limited on investment choices. Maybe you have one more login that you have to remember. You can roll it to your IRA. That's consolidating. You can roll it to your new company's 401k. That way you have one less log on. It's all kind of put together. But yeah, it's really just what works better for you, what's easier for you, and are you gonna want to spend some time making that decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the plan sponsor perspective or the owner of in this ABC Corporation example, they want to focus on what they do best, right?
Hmm.
So if you're selling restaurant equipment or if you're an electrical contractor or if you're a financial planning firm, like that's typically what you want to focus on. You don't necessarily want to focus on, hey, new employee has questions on what to do with their old 401k. So they're going to partner with us to make sure that that participant gets their question answered. And we're going to walk through those four options that Tucker just recommended. But then more importantly, we're going to handle it effectively. Like it's not going to be an issue for the plan sponsor or the trustee. We're the resource to them so they can go back to focus on making widgets or whatever they do best on that. So the participants, again, are equal to the employees who are often very important people to the plan sponsors, and they want them to handle their financial business well so that they can focus on the task at hand of their job. So we're not only going to help with that transaction, but very commonly other financial questions that people may have. In a lot of these plans, Katie, that we work on, we might be the only qualified financial advisor that these people are ever going to talk to,
Hmm.
right? They
Mhm.
might be working for a landscaping company, they might be a mechanic, maybe a large corporation where they're just kind of getting lost in the
Right.
sea of a big business, and they don't have anyone to really talk to individually about questions they have. So very common for us to do meetings with participants one-on-one in a way that we can answer questions they have about, okay, I'm getting married. What do I do with my spouse's accounts that are there? Are we making joint accounts? We keep them separate. What's the difference between a Roth contribution and a pre-tax contribution? These questions that people have, and information's everywhere, right? So we were talking about ChatGPT earlier today. I had carpenter ants in my house, so I was like asking ChatGPT all these questions about carpenter ants. But there ultimately is, if I have a problem, I need somebody who's dealt with carpenter ants before to
Right.
come help me with the issue. I can research it and look up all the information. Information is free and everywhere, but what is not there is context. So that participant who's asking the question saying, hey, maybe I looked up the difference in Roth and pre-tax, but given the context of my situation, which one's a better fit for me and my spouse for contributing that? So that's probably the second most common conversation I have is people that are very smart, that maybe have looked some of this stuff up themselves, but don't really understand how it fits in the context of their overall plan.
Yeah, and even zooming out, right? It's not just Roth or traditional. Then you start talking like larger pictures, all these, how these pieces all play together, whether it's estate, retirement, cash, all those types of questions. And the only other thing I had to add, sort of in thread of what you were saying, Joe, is like for some folks, these are the largest assets they have, right?
Sure.
And not every folks, but or not every person, but like a lot of these people, this is their hard-earned money. They've worked for a company for years or have accumulated their entire retirement through all of their employers and consolidated through time like Tucker sort of mentioned. So it's definitely a great service and a benefit add that we have for the plans.
Yeah, all the record keepers would be like the big financial institutions. All of them track these huge spikes that they get in call volume and email volume. What do you think happens? What do you think occurs that all of a sudden they get big spikes in traffic?
Layoffs.
Market goes down.
Yeah.
Market goes down. Now everybody's calling 1-800 financial service company asking questions on that. So they haven't generated any level of relationship. They're calling into a call center. Call center person probably has tens of thousands of people that are calling into that one. And it may also not be the most experienced person who themselves might be concerned in a market downturn. So that's the third most common one is whenever the market goes down, our level of plan participant communication goes way up
Yeah.
because people are scared, they're concerned. Like Katie said, it's their largest asset. It feels like a big deal when it drops by a significant percentage, no matter whether you have $10,000, $100,000, $10 million in the account. To that individual person, it's the whole thing. So that's the third most common one we're going to get is my phone's going to ring when we get a market downturn. It's going to be from a plan participant that I haven't spoken to before. Like that's only going to happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for getting into it. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you
Hey,
guys.
Katie, see you, Tucker.
Bye.